Hey guys, Michael from Copper vs Glass. Now, it's no secret that the iPhone allows for top tier mobile gaming, but how is the new iPhone 14 Pro when it comes to those AAA mobile titles? Well, let's take a look. So in today's video, we are looking at 6 great mobile titles. Now these are some of the best looking and most demanding titles that are currently available on mobile. Now, also in those games that allowed it, I did also use a wireless controller, and for me it was the Xbox Series controller. So for something like Apex, this was a really great addition. However, if I couldn't use a controller, I was just using the standard built-in touch controls that the game offered. Now, before we get into my thoughts on the gameplay, I just wanted to say that the iPhone 14 Pro has been excellent for gaming. The screen itself is very bright, looks incredible, and for those games that allow up to 120 frames a second, in motion it looks great. Also, using the Xbox controller with some of these games was a really great addition as well, and it basically just felt like I was playing a console game but on a smaller device out and about. Some of these games are basically direct ports from console over to mobile, and in all honesty, using it with the controller and with these awesome visuals, it looked pretty much one-to-one when it came to the gameplay. Now, the downsides are always going to be there when it comes to mobile gaming. So for example, if you don't have a controller and you're playing something like Apex Mobile with a touchscreen, obviously when you're looting and the movement side of things as well can get very complicated overall. So some games I think are definitely better played with a controller. However, if you don't have the option, using something like the iPhone or in general a newer device still offers some really great controls because you've got that really awesome feedback, great sampling rate on the display itself. So in a lot of instances, the touchscreen is a pretty good option. Now, those downsides can be slightly forgiven if you do have a larger device, for example. The iPhone 14 Pro compared to the iPhone 14 Pro Max, there's a pretty big difference in the screen side of things, so definitely something to keep in mind. However, now, onto the gameplay. So first up we have Apex Mobile, and in terms of the gameplay, it's pretty much one-to-one with what you're going to have on consoles, with some very key but noticeable differences. With Apex, you can immerse yourself in the Apex Legends universe, but on the go. You can play solo or team up with 2 teammates in multiple game modes across multiple maps with tons of characters, or as Apex calls them, legends. It's a fast-paced game where each legend has unique skills to master, play, and also get those wins. You have the now standard Battle Pass for extra content, however everything in the Battle Pass or the shop side of things is cosmetic only. Now, some new characters are behind the Battle Pass, however there is not one legend that will outperform another so much that you feel that you have to go ahead and buy one. Overall, if you've ever played Apex on PC or console, you know what you're getting yourself into. If not, Apex offers some great visuals and gameplay to match. On the iPhone 14 Pro, I was able to run the game at maxed out settings with a more than steady 60 frames per second. Also, due to it being a mobile game, you have tons of updates and changes that even the pro Apex players wouldn't be getting on console or PC. So, although the game is Apex as you know it, it's also a version of the game that is built for mobile, and this means that to keep people interested, they have to update and adapt quicker than they would for PC, for example. Now, this leads to some game modes, weapons, or even legends being different from that what you find on other platforms. Even if you've played Apex for a while, I would definitely give the mobile version a try. Just make sure that you've got that controller to hand, because again, touchscreen controls with a game like this isn't necessarily the best option. And next up we have Call of Duty Mobile. And what can I say about this legendary shooter that hasn't already been said? Now, this may be a hot take, but in my opinion, COD Mobile is the definitive version of Call of Duty. You have basically every weapon you love from the series, all the game modes you could ever want, and the maps. Oh, the maps. Whether it's playing on Crash from Modern Warfare or a newer map like Miami from Cold War, you have tons of options for map selection. It takes the best of the best and shrinks it all down into a mobile game. And let me tell you, some of these maps from older COD games look even better on this game engine, even on a 6-inch display. For the game modes, again you have everything you could need all in one place. You have TDM, Domination, Free-for-all, Hardpoint, Kill Confirmed, you name it, it's there, plus some special editions every now and then. Again, you do have a Battle Pass here, and if you're looking for some cool cosmetics, it's pretty good, but again, it's not necessary to have fun. All maps and game modes are available for free, and the stuff in the Battle Pass offers no competitive advantage. For the controls, again, I would say controller is best. However, unlike Apex, this is more of just a run and gun game, meaning it's much easier and also pretty good with the touch controls. So to round up, COD Mobile offers console quality graphics and gameplay with the customizable and great touch controls, voice chat with your team, and crisp graphics and sound. On the iPhone 14 Pro, I was able to play at over 60 frames per second with everything on ultra settings, and as you can see from the gameplay, the game looks great and feels awesome. If you're a fan of COD, then you should definitely be playing this game, and all of this for free. Funny when you compare it to the new pricing on the upcoming Modern Warfare 2. Now we have a game that is quickly becoming my benchmark for mobile gaming, and that of course is Genshin Impact. In Genshin, you arrive from another world, separated by an unknown god, stripped of your powers, and you awaken to a world very different from one you once knew. Genshin is a third-person action-adventure game set in the world of Teyvat that has you searching and fighting your way through this gorgeous map. Now, gameplay aside, this has to be one of the best, if not the best looking games and performing games on mobile today. If your phone can handle it, you're treated to amazing visuals, crisp animations, and great gameplay. The open world allows you to climb any mountain, swim any river, and go anywhere to complete your mission. You team up with a diverse cast of characters, each with their own unique personalities, stories, and skills. Now, as good as the visuals are, the soundtrack and audio in general is great. You have a mixed soundtrack composed of orchestras like the London Philharmonic, plus more. I think more so than any game on this list, Genshin Impact is a true console game for the mobile generation, and that also comes with the fact that it is best played with a controller. Just make sure that you have an iPhone 8 or newer along with iOS 12 and above to enjoy this near perfect mobile game. Now, the first and only racer on this list is going to be Grid Autosport. It offers all of the cars, tracks, and gameplay that you would expect from a AAA racer, but just on mobile. With Grid, you can race over 100 cars on 100 tracks, all in amazing quality with great frame rate. It's basically a by-the-numbers racer, but in a good way. You have the career mode to work through, which gives you the best experience of racing on basically every track in a wide selection of cars, from touring cars to hypercars and everything in between. Now, unlike the games before and after on this list, Grid will actually cost you around $10 to download and play. However, it also comes with 10 DLC packs completely free of charge. This includes car packs, tracks, and more. The gameplay is realistic without feeling too much like a simulation. Want to drift around a corner or push the limits of what a car can do? Then you're free to do so. Again, this is another game that plays well with controller, basically giving you a console racer on your phone, but has some really nice options for the touch controls that makes it easy to play in a pinch. Now, the visuals which you've seen in the background look absolutely amazing. I'm not really sure how they've made it look so damn good without really affecting the performance. It's really a AAA game that you're able to pick up, play out and about with tons of content and more, and all of this being offered for that $10 price tag. Next up then we have Torchlight Infinite. Now, this isn't a game that I would normally play, and it is an ARPG, which is an action role-playing game, but let me tell you, this is one of the best that I've seen. In Torchlight, you are one of 5 heroes with an insane level of depth and customization. For your character, you have over 200 gear options, over 230 skills across 24 talent tabs. So, doing the maths, you can see that, like the name suggests of the game, an infinite number of combinations for your chosen hero. The best thing about this free-to-play game is it's just that. It stays free to play, all gear, skills, crafting material, and attributes are all loot-based. Again, there are some in-app purchases and a battle pass, but nothing required to play the game and have tons of fun. The visuals of Torchlight also look great. You have so many elements going on at any one time, and it all runs super smooth and looks amazing while doing so. As you can see from the gameplay, it is all touchscreen with no option for the controller, but to be honest, as there are so many button prompts and things on the screen, the touch controls are probably the best option here. And although you have tons of buttons and combos to learn and loot to sort through, it's all done in a very intuitive way that never really takes away from the gameplay. Of course, the App Store is full to the brim with these sorts of games, but for me, Torchlight does a really good job at bringing over the ARPG feeling that you get from PC over to the mobile format. And lastly, we have Warface, which is basically COD Mobile, shrunken down, less microtransactions, but just as much fun. You have dynamic games in a universe of the Warface shooter franchise. You have multiple game modes, easy to master controls, and great visuals. You have some awesome character customization to then take your player into PvP or PvE matches. The map selection could be a little bit better with only 7 options from the get-go, but being a mobile game, I'm sure this is going to be updated pretty quick. There's a good selection with customization of over 200 pieces of weapons and gear, and on a regular basis, you will be getting new maps in and out of the rotation, along with weapons, equipment, and skins that come and go in the game. They also hold some in-game events, which could be a specific weapon on a map or limited time game modes to keep the gameplay fresh. And when it comes to the visuals of Warface, it looks great. Unlike Apex and COD Mobile, they haven't tried to change assets to fit into a mobile game, it's all basically from the ground up. This means that the visual quality and clarity looks great with some really nice lighting and also textures. Like most mobile shooters, for some reason, a lot of the time I feel like I'm fighting against the computer and not real players, but after a while it seems to shift to real players and then that real challenge begins. If you want to play this one on controller, unfortunately you don't have the option as far as I can tell. However, the touch controls do a great job, and again, like COD Mobile, the controls are simple yet intuitive to allow for high kill games and skillful gameplay once you put in the time. And that's going to do it, guys, for this video on gaming on the iPhone 14 Pro. And in conclusion, I still think the iPhone holds the crown for being the best mobile game device currently. I'm not sure what it is, the difference between iOS and Android. Some of these games I have tried on Android and for some reason they just don't look necessarily as good, or there's a little bit of stutter with regards to the frame rate. Now, again, yes, the iPhone is very powerful, but you do also have dedicated gaming phones for Android, and just in general some that have really powerful processors and great screens, but it just doesn't necessarily hit the same. Every game on this list, plus really anything that's coming up soon, is going to run and play extremely well on the new iPhones. Now for me, a lot of these games I was able to max out the settings and get that 60 frames per second, which a lot of people look for with mobile games. Also some of the older titles and also some newer titles can also get up to 120 frames a second, which again, for this day and age, mobile gaming looks really good. But as always, let me know in the comments section down below what is currently your favourite mobile game, or just in general the one that you think looks or plays the best. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up down below, and if you're not already subscribed, now is a great time to do so. Also, once you've hit that subscribe button, don't forget to turn on notifications so you're notified anytime I post a video here on the channel. I'm Michael from Copper vs Glass. I'm going to get back to some more mobile gaming, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.